Hey everyone, Ida from PGP here, and welcome back to Rivalries Thursdays. This week I want to highlight a historic rivalries that dominated the 1980s, the mid-1980s to be specific. And that is the rivalry between Nigel Mansell and Nelson Piquet, especially while they were teammates at Williams Honda, today Williams. So, let's set the scene. It's 1986. They've just joined forces at Williams. And while they've had disagreements before, they were fighting it out on track beforehand. It was truly when they were teammates that those fights, both on track and off track, reached a boiling point. Likely because the old adage in F1, your teammate is your first rival, is very true. So what happened and why did they clash? Well, they clashed honestly because they were fighting for wins and championships, but also because they had very different driving styles. And oftentimes, drivers that have different driving styles, they don't mesh. It just doesn't work that way. So, what were their driving styles? Well, we have Mansell that had a very gung-ho, put everything on the table driving style. And then we have Piquet that had a more strategic and calculating driving style. However, because the Williams was such a good car back then, it actually didn't really matter what driving style they had, they were still able to win. Meaning, they were trading wins like it was going out of style. To the point where at Silverstone, they were both fighting for the championship and the race win, obviously. And it was towards the end of the race, after they traded first place back and forth throughout the race, the closing laps saw Mansell suffer a tire blowout, meaning he had to retire. And Piquet was able to take home the win. I feel like that was the true boiling point. Like, that's when everything exploded, because Piquet winning in Silverstone brought him one step closer to winning the Drivers' Championship in '86. Which he would ultimately end up doing. And while Mansell came in third that year, meaning that Williams was still performing well, and actually their infighting, I want to say, didn't cost them really anything. Because oftentimes when teammates are fighting, it means that the team as a whole will not perform well, because so much energy is dedicated to keeping the calm. But basically, even third for Mansell was like, I don't want to do this. Like, this is not good enough, etc. So, come next season, Mansell, was even more gung-ho about everything. To the point where it actually paid off and he finished runner-up. However, this whole gung-ho approach and the whole tension thing also led to him leaving Williams at the end of '87 and joining Ferrari. And while that, to an extent, meant that their rivalry was over, it didn't 100% mean that. But it definitely helped cool things down. And honestly, while it was, granted I wasn't alive back then, but I've watched the older races, and while it was sad, in quotes, to see their rivalry like take it down a notch, it was also good for everyone else's sanity. So I hope you enjoyed that overview of the Mansell and Piquet rivalry. And if you want us to cover any more rivalries or have suggestions, let us know on our socials. Everywhere we are at Paddock Girls Podcast, except for Twitter, where we are at Paddock Girls Pod. See you guys next week. Bye.